Today we're going to learn a practice for dealing with difficult situations. It's called RAIN. RAIN was developed by meditation teacher Tara Brach as a way to bring non-judgmental, curious awareness, self-compassion, and vulnerability as we engage in contemplating a difficult situation or an emotion. RAIN helps us to recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture ourselves as we bring curiosity, non-judgment, kindness, and compassion to ourselves in a difficult moment. We can use RAIN for just about any situation that might be causing some degree of pain and suffering in our lives. So for today, I invite you to do this practice in a seated posture, making sure that you're comfortable and in a place where you feel safe and relaxed. You can do this practice either sitting on the floor with your legs crossed or sitting on a chair with your feet flat on the floor. You can also choose to keep your eyes open or closed. If choosing to keep your eyes open, remembering to lower your gaze to minimize distractions. In the spirit of taking care of ourselves, if you find that during this practice there is some kind of difficulty or challenge, please do what you need to take care of yourself. If you need to stop the practice altogether, or if you need to simply shift or move your body in some way. Sometimes it might be useful to just anchor your attention on your breath or on a body part that feels safe, like your feet or your hands. So remembering that ultimately this is about taking care of yourself and bringing in self-compassion. Now we begin by feeling our feet on whatever supporting surface we're resting on. Feeling the body sitting in the chair. Feeling the sensation of clothing touching the skin. The play of air on our face and hands. And just feeling your body as a whole. Becoming aware of your breath. Just finding it where you feel it the most. And then following with your attention a few breath cycles. In-breath expanding. Pause between the inhalation and exhalation. And exhalation, contraction. Warm air leaving the nostrils. Paying attention to the breath is a way to anchor our attention in the present moment. So if you notice that your mind wanders during this practice, just know that you can return to the breath at any time and bring in a gentle and curious, non-judgmental attitude whenever your mind goes somewhere else, because this is perfectly normal. You might also choose to use something else as the anchor for your attention, maybe the sensations in your feet or in your hands, as a way to return to the present. So whatever works for you, taking a note and using that today. And so now, bringing your attention to the heart, the physical heart. Maybe even placing your hand there so that you can feel your heart beating. Becoming aware of the function that this heart plays in keeping the body alive. You might become aware of the fact that the heart is also the center of emotion. It's where we feel love, it's where we feel pain. So just acknowledging the heart right now. And as we become aware of the heart, maybe even feeling as if the breath is moving in and out of the heart, as if the heart is breathing in and breathing out. Playing with that, it's available to you. And now bringing to mind on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest level of intensity, at a level 5, a challenge that you might be facing right now. So this might be something related to your work situation, health, relationships, an internal struggle that you're facing. So making sure that this event is challenging, but not so challenging that it's totally out of your control. Something that, as I mentioned, is at an intensity level of 5. And now honing in on the details of this particular challenge. So you might want to choose a frame or a snapshot of the situation that is particularly triggering for you. So using that first part of RAIN to recognize when this happens, what's here? Who are the people involved? What are the circumstances or the context? What aspect of this situation is triggering for you? Just kind of recognizing the global aspect, the whole picture, if you will. And then moving into that second part of RAIN, allowing whatever is felt as this situation or image comes to mind, and allowing that to be felt, allowing yourself to be aware of the emotions that you feel. So there might be a sense of fear or doubt. Maybe there's some pain. Maybe there's uncertainty, disappointment, anxiety, frustration, helplessness, a sense of lack of control. So whatever is really in this experience for you, feeling that, allowing an awareness of the physical sensations that you feel as you contemplate this situation to come up as well. Noticing where in your body you feel this. And just holding this in your awareness. Giving it a little room to breathe without trying to shut it out, if that's comfortable for you right now. And now moving into the third part of RAIN, investigating. So as we investigate, as we recognize and allow, we can investigate, what am I thinking or feeling about the situation? What am I thinking and feeling that might result in the way that I react? What kinds of behaviors do I engage in when I'm in this situation? What patterns of behavior show up? Are these patterns recurring in other situations in my life? What am I believing about myself and about the other? values are underlying my feeling, my hurt, my relationship to this situation? What values are at stake? What am I believing should or shouldn't be? And perhaps there's even an awareness of the values and beliefs of the other, if that comes up for you. And so now transitioning to the fourth part of RAIN, nurturing. And in nurturing, we're invited to call upon the wiser, better, larger part of ourselves to give us that nurturing, to nourish us, to give us that self-love, self-care, self-compassion that we need. And one way to do this is by placing the hand on the heart. So placing the hand on the heart as a gesture of nourishing, nurturing, adjusting the way the hand is placed, the pressure, so that there's a sense of tenderness flowing from your hand to your heart. And if it's available to you, feeling that tenderness. Feeling yourself becoming vulnerable to this tenderness. And you might call upon this wiser, higher, larger part of yourself that's connected to something greater to just soothe and bring ease. If this is challenging for you, perhaps calling upon a light, color, some other being, someone in your life that can help to bring this feeling of kindness and compassion. It might even be a pet that allows you to feel that sense of nourishment and kindness and tenderness and love. And as you call upon those feelings and that compassion, as you bring that compassion into your heart for yourself, and even if there's still a tinge of pain or vulnerability here, knowing that it is perfectly okay to feel both at the same time. And it's also okay if it's difficult to feel self-compassion right now. That's why this is a practice. We can try this again and again. And just for now, as the hand is placed on the heart, inviting well wishes to oneself. And so I'll repeat a few phrases and you can repeat them back to yourself quietly in your mind as a gesture of self-compassion and loving kindness. May I be happy. May I be safe and protected. May I be strong and resilient. And may I live in love, peace, and ease. Taking a deep breath and allowing that to be felt, to sink in whatever measure is available to you right now. And at the end of the RAIN, as we call upon this higher part of ourselves, as we bring in this self-compassion, knowing that this is always available, that we can continue to practice bringing this loving kindness to ourselves as a way to experiment, as a way to explore what is showing up in our experience in a non-judgmental way. It might give us a different perspective. It might not change anything at all. So just taking this moment by moment. Whenever you're ready, slowly letting go of your hand from your heart. Allowing yourself to slowly transition from this practice of rain by anchoring your attention again on your breath, following a few mindful breaths. And whenever you're ready, wiggling your fingers and your toes, allowing your eyes to open if they were closed. As you transition out of the practice, thinking, what was it like to make it rain on a difficult emotion today? What showed up for you? This might be a good time to take a moment to write down anything of importance that you want to remember, especially before you transition to the next activity of your day. I invite you to try the rain practice repeatedly with different situations that are either challenging or with tough feelings like shame or guilt or fear, uncertainty, any kind of suffering that might be happening in our lives. I want to thank you for being vulnerable and for taking the time to engage in this practice today. Our next and final session will focus on using guided imagery for self-care and well-being. Until then, be safe and be well.